Hi, hello, my name is Amy Prokopis. I am an author of young adult novels like the young adult science fiction novel The Arena and the young adult fantasy romance series Guardians of the Sixth Gate. The second book in that series comes out on May 30th of this year, 2023. Thank you for clicking on this video. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you don't already, because I post videos similar to this all the time. I also do weekly live streams where you can come and write with me. Lots of fun, but that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is another month-long challenge. So this month we are working on Instagram. So if you haven't already watched, last month I did a challenge to grow my TikTok. I filmed the whole process week by week. That video can be found here. When it comes to Instagram, I am super active. Actually, I post in my stories every single day, multiple times a day. I don't post on my feed every day, but I do some, and I'll show you guys, I'll give you kind of like the tour here in a minute. Even though I've kind of started this process, I'm going to show you a little bit, some examples of what my feed has looked like up to this point. That way you know what I'm talking about. But as far as Instagram goes, I'm mostly active, but I haven't seen any growth on my Instagram in quite some time. I've seen a little bit recently just because of the TikTok challenge, because I was taking those TikToks, I was posting about 5 times a day on TikTok, and I was taking them and making them reels. That was super successful when it comes to TikTok growth, and it did help me grow on Instagram. So I did already see a little bit of Instagram growth just by using the Reels feature. So we'll talk about strategy when it comes to that here in a second. Now that you guys have seen examples of what my feed looks like, a little bit of the reels, you'll notice that it's a little disorganized. So for one, my theming, I used to have the same like story covers. Everything used to look really polished and professional, and that has kind of like waned as I've added things to it. You could see the 2023 cover is a different color. I also have one to support public education that's bright red. I think I'm gonna try to make it all back to that same tree theme. So that's one thing I'm gonna do. I think it'll be more eye-catching and look better when you go to that as a landing page on my profile. Also, my feed doesn't really have a lot of direction. It's kind of random looking. Recently, I've already started this, and you may have noticed, Sarah Sutton, also an indie author on YouTube, something that she has done in the past as her YouTube strategy, and she says she likes the look of, and I also like the look of, is interspersing pictures of myself with my flat lays of books and also with other promotional material. So I'm trying to do that. I want every other or every third picture to be a selfie of myself. I think it makes the whole feed look more personal. I noticed on TikTok and on Reels that I get more engagement. So comments, I get more views even with the content that I am featured in. So when I physically, my face makes an appearance in the reel, the content does better. So I think the same will follow on my Instagram profile. And when I share more pictures of myself, I think I'm gonna get more engagement and hopefully more followers on my Instagram account. So now let's talk about where we are starting. So I'm gonna move back over here with all of my notes, and we'll take a look at Instagram so far. I did say that I already grew a little bit just thanks to the TikTok challenge. So when I do my recap of this first week, which is coming in just a second, actually, the numbers are going to be a little bit skewed. So when I started this challenge before some of those TikTok views came in, so between the end of January into this month, into February, I started at 346 followers on my Instagram page. So again, some of that changed very quickly at the end of January before I really started my focus on Instagram, so this challenge, just because of the TikTok videos that transferred over and became reels on Instagram. So I grew because of the TikTok challenge. So here in a minute, when I tell you how this first week of February went, those numbers are gonna be slightly different and a little bit not super accurate to my focus on Instagram versus TikTok, just because of that challenge. I don't know if that really made sense, but hopefully it's tracking. For week 1, I had a book release date announcement. So this first week, today, which is Saturday, I announced when Shade of the Shadowlands will be released, which is May 30th. So that announcement meant that I had to up my engagement on Instagram. So I had more posts this week than even that I had planned on the one per day. I had more posts and more stories and a few related reels just because I was announcing the release date of my next book. And of course, because that's a big announcement, I did see quite a bit of engagement with those posts. I had kind of an uptick in people liking and commenting on it because it's a big deal, right? So that went really well for me so far. And now, let me see, I have to tally it up. I'm gonna tell you how many followers I have gained right now. So this first week, even though it's been a short one because the first was halfway through the week, I am up to 355 followers now. So I have grown quite a bit. I've grown, so I've gained 9 followers to Instagram in this week just because of the posting I've been doing. Now, some of those, I would say about 4 or 5 of those were from the TikTok challenge that bled over into the first of this month. So I would say that really I gained closer to 5 from this week's Instagram focused content alone. So, does that math make sense? I don't know. Does that math make sense? Maybe not. I'm not a mathematician, I'm an author. But so far so good. And my focus is still to continue what I've been doing with TikTok. I'm gonna continue posting the reels because Instagram's algorithm now pushes reels. So I'll continue that, still posting there. I'm going to up what I'm posting on my actual feed though. The goal is to post once a day and intersperse those posts. So I'll do a flat lay one day, maybe something else, maybe another flat lay that day. And then the third day, I want to do another selfie. So that's something I'm going to have to consider, is making sure that I'm taking those selfies, because I don't always think to take selfies for that kind of content. Sometimes it's thumbnails, so they look a little different, but I'm excited to see what kind of growth I can get from this challenge, because the TikTok video was really fun to film. And also I came away with a lot more knowledge, and I did see by the end of the month, I did notice that I think my sales had increased because I'd gained some new followers to TikTok, which also trickled over to Instagram and YouTube. So fun stuff. Something else I might try. I go live on YouTube on Sundays and do a live stream. And before I go live there, I go live on TikTok. So I start live on TikTok for about 20 minutes while I set up, and then I move over to YouTube. I have gotten some followers from TikTok to actually come to the YouTube live stream. So that has been really productive for me. I think I'm gonna continue that, but I think I may try to go live on Instagram next week on Wednesdays. Maybe not Wednesdays, but hopefully Wednesdays. Just to talk about maybe like a midweek progress. Maybe it's a midweek progress report that I do on Wednesdays. I don't know. But I'm gonna go live on Instagram just to see what happens. I may not gain followers from that, but maybe I'll gain some engagement, and that'll open up my visibility to others online. I don't know. I'm still doing research into different things that I should be doing. So I'm gonna start today with changing over my YouTube theme so everything looks more polished and professional. So let's do that. All right, week 1 of the Instagram challenge, and I know it's been a short one. For instance, it was only I guess it was a whole week, but it was the first week of actually diving in. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first. So I'm going to go ahead and put up a screen recording of my Instagram so that you guys can see what it looked like for this week. I tried to post every single day, and I tried to take the advice that I heard from a Sarah Sutton video where she tries to alternate selfies with flat lays and things. And I think it did work to make my Instagram grid look a lot more personal because I was in it more. It was not just random pictures and really pretty book things. I was also a part of them as well. I think that having my photo in there more often helped get people to my profile. So again, I tried to post once a day, and I interspersed 3 different types. So I did a flat lay, which was a photo of the book. I also did a character profile, which is a graphic I made up on Canva just to feature the characters in Guardians of the Sixth Gate, which is the book I am heavily promoting right now as we move into the sequel for that, Shade of the Shadowlands. That is out the end of May 30th. And then I also put in a selfie. And so those 3 things were cycling every day in my Instagram profile. I also continued some of the TikTok video. So rather than posting 5 times a day, I am posting 3 times a day on TikTok. I did that most of the time. I averaged this week 2 posts to TikTok, and those were then transferred over to Instagram where they became reels. So I was posting once a day on Instagram, posting reels up to 3 times a day. And I also am pretty active in my stories. I would post several stories a day. I would always have at least 4 in my story on rotation at a time. So I'd say I'm pretty active. Where I increased my activity is definitely in the post side. If you are looking at my follower count as it was going past on the screen a second ago, I gained 1 follower this week. I did gain more profile visits though, and my posts also went up. So I'm getting more activity. I've only gained the 1 follower, and I know that gaining followers is kind of the goal. So I'm going to continue doing a little bit more research on TikTok growth. I'm going to watch a few more videos. I'm going to research what other Bookstagram things are trending right now on Instagram specifically, not just TikTok. And hopefully I can catch on to some of that, and we'll grow a little bit more in this next week, and we'll see a couple more followers. So it's Monday. Time got away from me yesterday, and I wasn't able to film my Instagram recap. So I am filming it today. Just for reference, here is a look at my current follower count. Also, let's go ahead and put up a video scrolling through the content that I have put out this week. So I have gotten a lot better at the scheduling feature on Instagram. I have figured out how to make it work for me. So I've been scheduling a post per day. This last week, I was not nearly as active in my stories as I normally am, even because it was just a long week. If you saw my vlog from last week, then you already know there was just a lot of things going on at work, and I had to give myself a bit of a pep talk, and that definitely showed in my performance on social media. I was only posting once a day to TikTok, so there was only 1 reel, then also going to Instagram. The 1 post a day was successful. I noticed the posts that are doing the best are my flat lays, and there was 1 that did super well. That was a character profile. That's what that was. So I'm going to continue doing that, but I'm going to try to raise my activity in my stories this week. Also, I would like to do more with my reels, put more reels out, because that does seem to gain some engagement. So that means I need to do a little more with TikTok. So because it's been so busy and I need to give myself a little grace because I'm starting to feel burnout at work and that's slowly creeping into my writing life, I'm not going to push the issue too much and try to incorporate anything new into this challenge for this week. My goal is just to maintain and do as much as I can in my stories. So still doing the weekly post. I have those scheduled all the way through Thursday, which is exciting. I think some of the posts that I have going out this week are going to do better than those character profiles. They're quotes and images like that. They look like advertisements a little bit. So I think some of those will do better in the long run. So we'll see. It'll all depend on how things go this week. So wish me luck. Hello, it is Sunday, February 26th, and it is time for yet another update on the I Try to Grow My Instagram in 1 month project. Firstly, I want to put on the screen right now where I am with my follower count. I am at 358 followers, so I'm not really growing a ton, but there are a couple things that I have noticed. Let's get into those. I'm going to put kind of a view of my profile grid. One thing that I noticed significantly this week that was not true in the last couple is that my profile grid looks much more aesthetic. I think it's fitting the vibes of the Guardians of the Six Gate series, everything that I'm trying to give off in the build up to the release of the sequel, Shade of the Shadowlands, May 30th. I like the way it looks a lot better. I like the theming, the color schemes. I continued with last week I continued the trend of interspersing a selfie in every couple of posts. I like the way that I did my selfies this week more than I did last week, because it's not just a random picture. I think the theming is there in the picture also. Just like if you noticed, there was that video, there's that piece of that clip on the screen where it's me with the yellow backdrop rather than just me wherever I was. I really like that, and I think I'm going to continue doing a little bit more of that. Maybe not every time I post a selfie, but to a degree, just to keep the vibe there. That seemed to work really well. I noticed my engagement was up. I was checking analytics on each of the posts so often after I'd posted them, and it looks like my posts are getting further this week than the last week. I'm not necessarily growing, but they are going further. Some of them are getting more likes. The reels have not changed a ton. I did have a reel do really well, at least compared to some of the others. It was in the hundreds, and it was my writing update. My writing updates tend to do very well on all my platforms. I think just because I try to keep them really, really short and just info dump in them. I put kind of funny sound bites in the background just to be a little more engaging, more fun to watch. So those videos always do pretty well. This is technically the last full week of this challenge because there are a couple more days going into next week, but midway through the week is when this project is up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue posting like I have been, keeping it engaged. I'm going to try to up my posts on my stories a little bit and try to hook people into my social media accounts from other places like YouTube and really push it on my live streams on Sundays. But as for everything else, I'm just going to continue what I'm doing, and I'll give you guys a quick update when we do final thoughts. That way I can, maybe if I grow in the next couple of days, I can toss that in too. And then we'll talk about like overall analytics, things that did the best and things that probably won't ever try again. So we'll get to that in the next clip. Hi, hello friends. It's a little dark in here. Sorry for all the crazy lighting and the angles. Holy moly, what am I even doing? we're off to find some new lighting. All right, this is not my most favorite angle, but the lighting is a whole lot better, so we're gonna run with it. We are gonna talk about how I feel about this whole Instagram project this month, some of the pitfalls, because there were some things that did not go as planned for this video, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm also gonna tell you what I've learned and how I've grown out of this experience, including a little bit about the TikTok video. Just as a glance, I am up to 358 followers on Instagram, which does not sound like a ton, but I have grown a little bit since the beginning of this challenge. Put the number here. This is how much I have grown since the beginning, not just of this challenge, but this is how much I've grown on Instagram in all of 2023. So today it is February 28th, and this is how much I've grown since the very first of the year. First, I want to start by saying that I am really proud of myself for all of the marketing research and all of the commitment that I've done, not just to the month-long challenge for Instagram, but also the month-long challenge for TikTok. It took a ton to prep and plan both of those, and I'm super happy with the way they turned out. But what I did not consider is all of the work that it took into prepping and planning over the course of 2 months, because I did these both back to back. That is one of the first things that I think did not work super well for me. I wish I could have spread this out a little bit, but also because I did them back to back, both of my platforms saw growth across both months. Because the TikTok video, when I did the TikTok video, all of the videos from that, from TikTok, also then were moved as Reels over to Instagram. So even though I wasn't focused on Instagram, in a lot of ways, because I was posting so many TikTok videos, I was posting upwards of 5 a day, and then they came over as 5 Reels to Instagram. I think I was actually posting more on Instagram last month when I did the TikTok video than I did this month doing the Instagram video. What ended up being the big focus with Instagram was my profile grid. I'm really pleased with the way it looks. Go check it out. I'm at Amy Prokopis over there. I love the aesthetic of it. That is something that my Instagram has never really had, is an aesthetic look to it. I think all of the images I were posting were great, but all together as a collage, when you just look at the profile, they did not look cohesive the way that a lot of people's Instagrams look. The one I've been referring to the most is Sarah Sutton, who is a big author here on YouTube. Just in general, also, she does very well. Her profile grid on Instagram looks very pretty. Everything's interspaced. There's selfies in there, but not every day. So everything looks really aesthetic. Mine did not have that. And this last week, that is when I started to notice that I was getting a look and like theming related to Guardians of the Sixth Gate and Shade of the Shadowlands. And so that is where I started to actually see things changing for Instagram. So unfortunately for me, it was the end of the month when I started to kind of nail down the look of that. And I wouldn't say that I necessarily had any more engagement because of that. I was tracking the analytics on my posts as I went through the weeks, and I found that the images that did the best, which is funny because on TikTok, some of my highest viewed TikToks were the ones where I stood in front of the camera and talked about what I was working on. Talk about your work on progress. That's the videos for me that did really well. That and the funny ones that I was in on camera. But on Instagram, the Reels and also the posts that did better were actually the flip. They were the flat lays, which were pictures just of my books, and also promotional pictures, which may have had my book cover on it or not, and quotes from my book. So the ones where I was in them did not take off as much, meaning they just didn't go as far. So nothing wrong with that, but it was an interesting difference between the two platforms that I noticed even as far back as doing the TikTok video, that things that caught on Instagram were not necessarily as successful on my TikTok. Would I do this again? I think so. I'm going to continue posting daily to Instagram because I am seeing a slow amount of growth on Instagram because I think I'm posting daily. I've also seen videos talking about how Instagram is changing in 2023, and I've heard in a couple different nooks and crannies that Instagram may be moving back to posts and a little bit away from Reels because a lot of the users on Instagram do not like that. There's TikTok for videos and short form and all of that, and they want Instagram to be for photography and pretty images, and I do kind of also like that divide. So I think if that truly is the case for 2023, that my daily posting for all of my promotional stuff will pay off in the long run. So it may be a slow growth, but I think when I get to the top, it's going to pay off a lot in the end. I'm also going to up the number of reels, I think, that I put out, because I'm also upping the number of TikToks. So my consistent number of TikToks per day for February was 1 a day because, like I said, my day job was wild. We are doing enrollment at the school I work at, which means I was in classrooms most of the week, which meant I wasn't able to do my normal job in the office most of the week. So I got incredibly behind. And then when we did get into the office, I was trying to do damage control and play catch up because there's never enough time or people in public education. So it meant that a lot of things needed to be scaled back just for the time being. So for me, that was some of the marketing side. And since I was doing this Instagram video, it ended up being TikTok. So I was only posting about 1 a day. I'm going back to attempting 3 a day because I think that really paid off for me. That's when I saw the most growth in the summer, when I was doing 3 TikToks a day. So because I'll be posting those, they'll also go to Reels. So I'm going to actually up some of my activity on Instagram after the Instagram challenge. So unlike TikTok, where I was posting 5 times a day and I was hyper active on there, not sure if hyperactive is the word, but I was super active on TikTok, and then I scaled back after the challenge. I think that I can do more with Instagram. So that is pretty much my conclusion from doing the Instagram video. Let me know in the comments if you like these kinds of videos. Do you like this kind of strategic author business videos? I don't really feel like I am in any place at all to be teaching, and I by no means think this is advice for anybody. This is just my experiments and my experience in the world of social media and marketing for books. I do think I might make in the month of March, I might put out a video where I talk about my social media strategy just to see, or maybe just marketing strategy. What do you guys think? Would you like to see the strategy I use for getting my books out there into the world? That's something I've never talked about other than these social media videos that I've never talked about on my channel. Let me know. Would that be interesting? I don't know. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Give me a like, subscribe, because I try to post bookish content 3 times a week. There's always a weekly vlog every Sunday. We do live streams. Join me there. I will be writing book 3 all of March, and I try to post a video every Wednesday that's more fun, like this. So join me, let's be friends. Also, go connect with me on all those social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram. I'm super active there. I post all the time. Reach out to me, connect with me, share your books, let me know what you're working on, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!